Welcome to Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself. The podcast will begin momentarily.
Please announce yourself.
You feel like that's what you want to do. If you feel like a room if you feel like happiness is the truth. If you know what happiness is to you. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't you? Bring me down, love you. Bring me down, can't you? Bring me down, tell around. If you feel like a if you feel like happiness is the truth. If you know what happiness is to you. If you feel like that's what you want to do, if you feel like a if you feel like happiness is the truth, if you know what happiness is to you, if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Welcome to the Xtra-Hype Connection, from probably the Prosperity Podcast on the Grown Folk Talk and Express Yourself Network. Let me know if you can hear the music. Let me know.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sometimes she's here, you can take a break. I'll tell you, don't stay. With the air.
Sara Blas.
By the way, because I'm alone, if you feel
We hear that music. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the podcast. My friends, it's Monday night for probably the Prosperity. You got the Xtra-Hype Connection right here on the Grown Folk Talking Network. We got a special guest for you tonight. Actually, two special guests for you tonight. Stick around, hold tight. Let me know if you can hear the music clear. Let me know if you can hear the music clear.
No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like a room out. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is you. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't you? Bring me down, to love you. Bring me down,
you know it.
Can't you? Bring me down,
yeah.
Bring me down, can't you?
That's right.
Bring me down, to love you.
Good vibe.
Can't you?
Right there.
If you feel like a if you feel like happiness is the truth, because you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because if you feel like a room without a roof, clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because you know what happiness is to you. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, can't you? Bring me down, to love you. Bring me down, can't you?
Robert Parkin.
Bring me down, I said,
Stop. Stop.
You feel like a happiness is the truth. Because if you know what happiness is, you clap along if you feel that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like a home without a clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because if you know what happiness is, you clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
All right, everybody, once again, welcome to the podcast tonight, my friends. You know what it is. It's the Xtra-Hype Connection. That's right. We got the connection biz. We're doing it for you right here Monday night on the Grown Folks Talking Express Yourself Network. It's From Poverty to Prosperity podcast. We got some special guests on tonight. That's right, everybody. Hold tight. Keep your seats. That's right. Tonight, we're going to listen, and then afterward, we're going to have a Q&A kind of meet and greet for one of your future. That's right, one of your future reps. That's right. They're here with us tonight. We're definitely glad to have her on the line. That's right. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be connection, and it's out of sight definitely tonight. So we definitely love having you here with us. I hope that you all could hear the music clear when we were playing it. If not, well, we'll fix it. But if you could, then great. We're glad to have you here. Can't wait to get it started. We're going to take a few more minutes to just let our guests get settled in. And then we're going to start the podcast, my friend. So you're definitely in tonight for something delight. A sweet treat tonight. FloFokuz. Are you around, brother? Are you around?
I am. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear, my friend. Loud and clear.
Amazing. I'm always working on getting the levels right for the VOD. So remember, guys, take a look at this afterward at all of my social medias at FloFokuz. You can always find those links at prologicstrategies.com/news. All the places where I'll be posting this live broadcast afterward. You can find those at prologicstrategies.com/news and lots of other interesting tidbits for you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. It's the connection. That's what we do here. You know what we do? It's extra high for me and for all of our listeners. All of you are returning, as well as those of you who are new. We want to definitely welcome you to our podcast. Glad to have you here with us. Hope you will return. That's right. Because we got more and more stuff to share, more stuff for us to learn. And hey, right here is where we make it happen for you. So once again, we want to thank all of you for joining us. We're going to give you just a little bit more music before we get ready to start. And of course, as it is customary for us to do our shout out, before we do that, we'll run through that quickly. And then we won't belabor the point. We'll get straight to the introduction of our special guest by another special guest. You all have heard them on the line before, representing the Alpha Pack. Of course, it is the Alpha Woo 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 Woo. Tonight, that's right. They're back again, and I tell you, it's just out of sight. Everything is just right. So we're going to get you started in just a few. Hey, Brother Wolf, would you like to say a little something just before we get started?
Hey everybody, this is Wolf on the line with Extra Hypeness. Hey, I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm returning, and glad I got those beautiful listeners out there. Keep it tuned, because we got some special stuff for you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we're going to give you a little bit more sounds, and then we're going to get started. I promise to you, my friends. So stick around right now. We just got a little bit more tunes for you, all right? Hope it's coming through your ears clear.
take a break.
Can you hear that all right?
I feel you, don't stay.
Coming in loud and clear.
Sounded good to me, Extra Hype.
What's that? What's that? Say again? Need more volume?
It's good. I can hear it.
Yeah, it sounded pretty good to me as well.
All righty. Go with this.
Here comes bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got, don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why. Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like a room without a room.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like happiness is the truth.
Yeah.
Because I'm happy I'm alone. If you know what happiness is to you.
That's right.
I'm happy I'm alone. If you feel like that's what you want to do.
Tonight.
Bring me down. Can't do you.
Nope.
Bring me down. Love it too.
Nope.
Bring me down. Can't do you.
Nope.
Bring me down.
Why?
Bring me down. Can't do you. Bring me down.
You know.
Bring me down. Can't do you.
Cause
Bring me down.
Extra Hype.
I'm alone if you feel like a room without a roof.
Yeah.
I'm alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy I'm alone if you know what happiness is to you. I'm happy I'm alone if you feel like that's what you want to do. Because I'm happy I'm alone if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy I'm alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy I'm alone if you know what happiness is to you. I'm happy I'm alone if you feel like that's what you want to do. Bring me down, change me,
Nothing.
bring me down, love it too.
Yeah.
Bring me down, change me,
Nothing.
bring me down. I said, come down, I'm alone if you feel like a room without a roof. I'm alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. I'm alone if you know what happiness is to you. I'm alone if you feel like that's what you want to do. I'm alone if you feel like a room without a roof. I'm alone if you feel like happiness is the truth. I'm alone if you know what happiness is to you. I'm alone if you feel like that's what you want to do.
All right, everybody. Once again, we definitely want to welcome you to the podcast, my friends. As you all know, our returning listeners and our new listeners, you got the Xtra-Hype Connection right here on the Grown Folk Talking Express Yourself Network. This is From Poverty to Prosperity podcast every Monday night at 6 p.m. That's right. You want to be first, but I tell you what, we always save the best for last right here on our podcast. So once again, thank you all for joining us. We're about to get started, but before we do, you know, it is customary. We have to show love and support to local businesses that support this podcast. So we're going to go through this very quickly, also give you some websites that we think are very essential and very good for you to visit, maybe show some love and support as well. So we're going to go through this list for you very, very quickly tonight, not leaving anybody out, but we want to get to our guests. So without further ado, local businesses that support this podcast, we got Konos Restaurant, located in Newark, New Jersey. Their address is 16 Clinton Street. Fine cuisine. Mwah. I tell you, they got that Latin splash flavor, and it's one of the best that you ever taste. I'm telling you, once you get a bite, it's something you're definitely going to savor from day to night. Days on end, weeks, my friend. I'm telling you, you got to check them out. Mouth-watering cuisine is some of the best you've ever eaten and you'll ever have seen. Presentation on the plates is out of this world. The taste is even something that you just got to talk about to everybody that you know. So make sure you check them out. Carlos Restaurant, 16 Clinton Street, right here in the heart of Newark, New Jersey, downtown. That's right. Tell them that you heard about them on the podcast. I tell you, they'll be glad to seat you in their dining area. They'll be glad to meet you. They'll definitely take care of you. Ask for Alex, ask for Sylvia, ask for Nicole. They'll definitely show you what they're all about, and you'll love it. You'll return, I guarantee it. Next, we got the Fruit House located at 764 Broad Street. I tell you what, fruits, vegetables, sea moss. We've also got cold-pressed organic juices, smoothies, spices, and seasonings, everything that you might need for your health and for your welfare and well-being. Check them out, the Fruit House, 764 Broad Street. Go ask for Johan. Go ask for Isamar, his lovely wife. Tell them that you heard about them on this podcast, all right? Also, we've got Halsey News located at 2 Prudential Drive, right here in the heart of Newark, New Jersey, once again, right next to the military park, my friends. Really close, right here in the downtown area. Your proprietor, Shahida, would love to meet and greet you from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, on your way to work, returning home. That's right. Stop in, check her out at Halsey News, 2 Prudential Drive. And, oh, tell her that you heard about her cake slices from the podcast. I tell you, she does everything herself from scratch. She is gifted and talented, and I'll tell you, the flavor, the richness, the moistness is something that you will definitely savor and remember. So make sure Halsey News, 2 Prudential Drive, go check them out, all right? And last but not least, local business, AJ Caribbean Taste. They're located at 150 Halsey Street, once again, Newark, New Jersey. The Caribbean taste of everything you might like to eat, from roti, from oxtail, from jerk chicken. I tell you, steak, vegetarian cuisine as well. They've got vegan cuisine as well. Something for every palate. So you come on down, congregate, just sit down, enjoy the atmosphere. You love the dining room, and they have hospitality there. I tell you, mwah, bon appetit. Check them out and let them know if you heard about them on the podcast as well, my friends. And last but not least, we got a few websites that we think would be worth your while to take a look at. Networkingforsuccess.info/Grooveology-360. Once you get there, why don't you click the top of the page as a drop down? It'll come down. That's our gift page, our thank you page. Just for tuning in, we got a lot of good offers for you there, my friends. So check that website out. Also, we got Liquid Manna with 2 N's like Nancy.com, liquidmanna.com. Oxygen-rich water. I tell you, it's something that you'll definitely want once you taste it once. This stuff is phenomenal, and I tell you, it stretches because 1 bottle of Liquid Manna makes 32 gallons of water with 1 tablespoon to the existing water in the gallon. Phenomenal. The taste is, I tell you, something special, and you'll definitely want to have more of this, and especially when you feel the effects of it. I tell you, and they got more products on that website. And when you go to check out, we've worked it out for you. Type in the code GTF2025. 10% discount off of your whole order when you go to check out. That's right. Just for you. Every time you go, that's a standing discount code every time you check out of liquidmana.com. Type in GTF2025. 10% discount off your entire order for the life of that website. That's right. Go there every time you order. Put that code in. You get the thank you bonus of 10% off your entire order. Also, we got ProLogicStrategies.com, my man FloFokuz. You know him as my co-host and engineer, entrepreneur, and music entertainer, talent developer, producer, and into management as well. He's got ProLogic Strategies going on. And of course, sign up. You got some bonus stuff coming as well on his website. Also, if you want to know about our current events, upcoming events, and things that we're going to be planning and are into that you can also be a part of, go to ProLogicStrategies.com/news. Check out the event roll. You'll see everything coming up in our future date certain on our website there. And last but not least, check out BearCatBody.com. Now that's Bear spelled B-A-R-E. That's right, catbody.com. Lovely Leslie Wright, your proprietor. You know her. She's been here on our podcast about once, maybe twice, and has also been here in the great city of Newark, in New Jersey, in person this year. That's right. So you know her. You love her. She's got great products for the eye health, dental health, body brothers, things for your hair and scalp, things for your nails, things for your feet. Makes you feel so good, such a treat, and much, much more. Check out her website, bearcatbody.com, all right? And I want to thank you all for listening to our announcements. You know it's customary for us. But right now, we're going to get right into the podcast tonight. My friends, you're in for a treat. That's right. We've got a couple of special guests on tonight. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this over to our special guest, Brother Wolf, from the Alpha Pack out of Staten Island. You've heard of him before. He's back again, bringing you more as promised. I'm telling you, he's going to introduce, known to some, new to others, but to you, my sisters and brothers, she's here with us tonight. That's all I'm going to say. That's right. For now, I'm going to let him handle the particulars, the introduction, and then let her introduce herself briefly to you before we start. Here you go, Brother Wolf. I turn it over to you.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing? Hope everyone having a good night. I am back. I'm glad to be here. Definitely. Hey, what up, Flo? You know what I mean? Mark, hey, extra hypeness is where it's at. So, I am back here. It's Leon, a.k.a. Wolf. I'm here bringing some good news, some positive energy. We all know I have my Alpha Pack. I have my Jump to Greatness to help fight against diabetes and child obesity. And now I've been to a lot of nonprofit events, a lot of events that's for the people, that's for where you are in your neighborhood, in my neighborhood. And we always want to know who are our council members or who are the people that's being voted into these places. There's some people that don't like voting, and there's some people that do. But the thing is, when you get out there and vote, you get to help choose what you want for your city. So I brought someone special here today. Her name is Sara Blas. She's been at a lot of my nonprofits. I've seen her around town, boots to the ground. She was out there making sure everyone knows who she is and what she's doing. Now she's here with us. Sara, are you on?
I'm here. Hello.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing?
Oh, my goodness. I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome.
Yeah. You know, I'm so happy I met you and I see you on the ground introducing yourself to everyone. So I was like, wow, I got to get to know her.
Yeah, it's been great. You're really inspiring with your Jump to Greatness. And, you know, it's such an important initiative. So I'm proud to continue to support it.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I hear you're running for councilperson, right?
That is true. Yes, yes. So my name is Sara Blass, and I'm running for city council on Staten Island. I'm running for District 49, which is the North Shore. It is Stapleton, West Brighton, New Brighton, Park Hill, a bit of Rosebank, all the Arlington, all the cool places on Staten Island. And so, yeah, I've been running for city council for about a year, and election day is tomorrow. So I'm really, really excited. It's looking really good for our team. And, it's such a privilege to be able to run for office. It really is. The campaign team has been able to connect so many families to resources, and, I've learned so much. It really is just a joy. So I'm excited for Election Day tomorrow.
Yes, definitely. That's awesome. You remind you, everybody, we got to get out and vote. Let's let you know, I have a few questions for you, and
Sure.
I know it's a mix of questions that we all know the listeners are going to have, because we need to know what our councilwomen are, what our councilmen are, what they're supposed to do. So can I ask you a question? What does a city council person do?
Love it. Okay, so first and foremost, a city council person is someone that you vote for in office that is supposed to address city concerns, and that's everything from land use, so that encompasses affordable housing, what gets built in your area, as far as new structures, so lots of zone use stuff. The second major responsibility is really infrastructure, so you're talking about buses, you're talking about stop signs, you're talking about bike lanes, anything that, has to do with transportation, potholes, things like that. The third thing that they do is they have something called discretionary funding, and they're able to give monetary contributions to nonprofit organizations that are servicing the community. So those are some of the top three things. Of course, they do lots of advocacy. They connect people to resources. But those are the top three things that city council folks do.
That's a lot on your back. I always wonder, so if there's so much, why you decide to run?
Oh my gosh, that's such a really great question, and it's really raw and honest. So I'll just share a little bit. I'm originally from Brooklyn. I was born and raised in Crown Heights, and I grew up in a family where, my grandfather ran a nonprofit. He was a bishop over in East New York. My grandmother, who just turned 95, Pastor Susie Elliott, is actually the president of the Brooklyn Council of Churches. We ran community gardens. And so, for me, growing up, I thought everybody's family did things like that. What do you mean on Saturdays you don't volunteer at the local food bank? So
right.
It seems it's a very natural thing for me. It's just how I was raised to be in service of the community. Both my parents are veterans. That's how they met. So I'm literally here because, my family just loves the act of service. I'm also a mom of 6 beautiful babies. And so I'm really trying to raise them with that same sense of civic commitment and just really loving, their neighbors. At any rate, so about 20 years ago, I moved from Brooklyn to Staten Island, and I actually started in-home hospice care with 1199 with seniors. And I just noticed that, there were so many gaps in care for so many families, and a lot of them really just could not die with dignity. And as I moved into my professional career into public health, I realized that so many families couldn't live with dignity either. And I never saw myself as a politician. I still don't. It's kind of an icky word to me, to be honest. I see myself as a community organizer and a mom, and someone that, really has an in-depth understanding of how policy impacts our daily lives. And I want to be the kind of an elected official that makes people want to believe in the political system again, and that makes people want to actually show up at the polls because they feel like, that choice actually matters and impacts their community.
Right. We gotta, feel that voting actually counts. So I hear a lot you talk about when it comes to families. It can affect yours as well as mine. So what do you hope to change for families of Staten Island?
Oh my God, so much. There's so much work to be done on the North Shore. So I run a small food justice nonprofit as well. We've done a lot opening up the first Afro-Caribbean food and spice market on the island. I've also worked in workforce. I have led recruitment and retention for a $2.5 million clean energy project across New York City. And I want to bring more clean energy jobs that are union track that could pay living wages to families across the North Shore. I've also done a lot of environmental justice work. So I want to continue being a partner in research. I've done research with Columbia University and NYU, taking a look at why there's so much chronic disease, especially within our children across the North Shore. And then I've also advocated, I've been chairing the special education committee for 2 years for the whole district, the whole island. That's every elementary school, every junior high school, advocating for children with special needs. And so, you know, there's a lot of work to be done. But I think looking at it through a public health lens and asking yourself, what are the components of a healthy community and how can we propose policy to push forward those proponents? That is how we create a full picture of health in our schools, in our infrastructure, in our job sector, in our in-homes, in our families, in our housing. And that's kind of leadership I've brought, you know, just as a volunteer and a community organizer, as a professional. And that's the kind of leadership we're going to bring when we win the election tomorrow to City Hall.
Yes, that sounds awesome. I love it. I love it. Like, you sound like you know a lot about what you're talking about and what is needed for Staten Island. But what makes you qualified?
Oh, I love this.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to
question.
go
I love
too hard,
it.
you know, but, you know, we got to know.
I love that. So I have a background in public health. I have over 10 years experience running nonprofit organizations, running my own small business. I've provided DEIA and human resource coaching to the Richmond County District Attorney's Office, to some of the top nonprofit organizations across New York City. I've also led multi-million-dollar initiatives for workforce programs. I'm a mayor's appointee for the Mayor's Action Climate Plan, where I was able to help advocate for different climate issues across Port Richmond and other disadvantaged communities. I have congressional citations, Senate proclamations, Staten Island Woman of Achievement in 2020 for my pandemic interventions, and about 16 city council citations. So I've done a lot of work in the community. I'm really, really proud of it. But that's the short list of the resume. I am definitely qualified professionally, but I think I bring a special level of lived experience and empathy that is often missing in politics, and that's one of the proudest qualifications I have.
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing. So you know what we need. You're very qualified. You know, I want to ask you, so running for office is a huge sacrifice. You don't get paid, not as much as I would think politicians get paid. I don't know.
Oh, you're asking all the real hard-hitting questions. I love this. So as a candidate, you do not get paid to run for office. And it is a full-time job running for office for sure. I have still been balancing, you know, being a mom and also running my small business as well while running a campaign. It is not for the faint of heart. I will not sugarcoat that. And, you know, politics is not always a friendly place, especially when you are, you know, a grassroots activist and you know, don't have a lot of political connections, and you're really just a mom trying to make a better community, right? That's it's a tough space to be in. But I really feel like we cannot complain about our electeds. We can't complain about the state of our community if we're not willing to do something about it. And I did not like the way certain elected officials, I won't name names, you know, were being responsive. And I said, you know what? Instead of complaining, I'm going to take your job. And so here I am.
Make the change
Here
from
I
the
am.
inside, right?
Yes.
All right, all right. So that's enough of the tough questions. I need to know. I need to know. I know our listeners need to know. Are you one of us? Are you down to earth? Are you so what restaurants you like going to eat at?
Oh, okay. So I get this question a lot about like my favorite pizza. And I've actually been booed on interviews. I'm not the biggest fan of pizza. I like soul food. So I want some oxtails. I want some rice and peas. I want some plantains. I want some fried fish. Okay, where's the whiting at? Where's my shipping grits? You know,
Ooh, chicken and grits, yeah.
okay, like, so my favorite soul food place on Staten Island is Shawnee's House. It's right on Van Duzer Street. If you don't know now, you know. It
Yeah,
is
shout out to Sundays.
top notch, top notch. Yes, yes. But I'm a
I just
huge foodie. I love eating. I love it.
Wolf, Wolf. This is
Yeah,
Marcus.
yeah.
I gotta say this. You done
Okay.
tuned into my channel, Miss Blas, with the soul food. All right. I just gotta let you know. Thumbs up on
Okay.
that one. I'm going back on you. You go ahead, Wolf.
Definitely had to talk about that soul food. Love it. So, Cash, another question, like, as in, we need to know, are you one of us? Like, are you a Staten Island? Like, what do you do for fun? Is there certain parks you like to go to or be a part of? Like, what do you do for
Yeah.
fun?
Oh my gosh. So I am actually an artist. I love music. I sing a little jazz. In my spare time, I play the saxophone. So you'll find me at, a lot of, just like jazz exhibits, music. Anywhere there's music, you'll see me. I'm also on the board of the Alice Austin House Museum, so I spend a lot of time there. So the art scene is really, is where you'll find me kind of just hanging out on my days off. I don't get many of those, but when I do, it's definitely the art scene for me. One of my favorite art places is Maya the Poet. She has like open mics where folks can just kind of come and sing and rap and do poetry and write and like I love spaces like that. So yeah, that's exactly where you'll find me.
Oh, that sounds great. You hear that flow? You hear that flow? That poetry, that music, entertainment. We love that over here in the extra hypeness, right? Um,
No,
so
yeah,
if
listen.
anyone here, you go ahead, Flo.
Yeah, absolutely. That you done tapped into my frequency on the music thing. So, a lot of us over here are very excited to hear, like, you know, you as a council person, you as someone who is running for office, to have such a down home and, regular type of temperament. So we definitely appreciate you coming on here and sharing your story, and getting the word out for the elections tomorrow. So,
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to allow you all to continue. I would also like to open up the floor for anyone else who's listening to ask you questions or to join the conversation. Feel free to, chime in, guys. Once we do open the lines there, but I've got questions coming out of my ears because we do a lot of conversations on here about the civic process, and
Yeah.
there's like it's a daunting bridge getting across
Ooh.
from a person on the street waking up on a Tuesday and finding out they lose their job to then coming up with some sort of strategy to overcome that disparaging situation, whether it be lost your job, family member, you're sick now, or whatever it might be. We've got these challenges in our life that then we have to put a lot of that stuff aside to go and get some work done. Like for yourself, you're a
Yeah.
city council person, your family has been in nonprofit and community organization for a long time, but a lot of us don't really have that outlet or that perspective to get involved in places, and we often find ourselves distracted in pop
Mm.
culture and in even in politics where there's more of a brick wall to get through as opposed to a bridge to cross. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people
Yeah.
are more building walls than seeking that connective tissue to bridge the gaps between our understandings. So, like I said, I've got tons of questions. I don't even know where to go. We're in the fun zone of learning about what your joys are, and I don't want to bring it down too much. But I
No, I'm with it. Whatever questions you have, I would love to just add on to what you said. It can absolutely be a daunting process, but I encourage everyone, if you just have questions about who's on your ballot, what a city council person does, what does a mayor do, who's responsible for what, right? Always call your local board of elections. They will answer. They're very, very responsive. You can Google the number, and they will sit down. They will explain everything to you. If you're having an event at a school, a nonprofit, they will send people to bring materials, not just to register to vote, but to also explain everything from top to bottom. They give free civic classes. It is a resource I don't think a lot of people know about and don't utilize enough. So that would be the first thing that I would say is just give your local board of elections a call and ask questions. They work for you. Their job there is to provide whatever education, education you need. So definitely give them a call.
You see, guys, this is what I mean. It's just a phone call away. Us getting involved and figuring out how we can go from poverty to prosperity in our day and age. Listen, I appreciate it. I don't want to hold you guys up. If you got more questions and things like that, I just appreciate that you're here to share your story and the good news of you're out here doing your thing. So I just want to commend you on that, and I'll go ahead and get back on mute here.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you for having me.
yeah, Miss Blas, this is Marcus. Um, I
Hello,
want to let you
Marcus.
know you also tuned into my channel with civics, because as Flo said, here we do go into the civics studies, the process. We've had a series done on that so that we can interact with our listening audience. And I would like to ask you to maybe just explain just a little bit what the difference is between the local government versus the other stuff that's going on, because it seems to be more personal at the local level. Like you said, if you get information, know where to get it from, how does that work for the people when they have issues or such as things that may be going on right now? How does the local government intervene on behalf of the people in their areas, their districts?
Oh, this is such a good question. I love this question. So again, city council is local government. This is city agencies, so they deal with city issues. And then you have the state, so those are your senators. That's the state level pieces of legislation. And then you have federal, like your congresswomen, your congressmen. So a lot of folks, whenever I'm out doing civic engagement classes, people get really excited about federal elections. They're like, it's the president, let's go vote, yeah, which is super exciting, right? Like, we all love a really good presidential election. But the local elections are extremely important. From a city council standpoint, it really impacts everything from whether or not you have affordable housing in your community to whether or not your children's schools are fully funded, your children's public schools are fully funded, to whether or not your roads are safe and have enough stop signs, to whether or not your nonprofits are funded. And so it is extremely important to just be as active in local elections and then federal elections. I'll also say a lot of folks, we see there's a lot of talk about SNAP cuts, and that's a federal issue, but don't ever let an elected official or a candidate tell you, oh, that's a state issue or that's a federal issue or that's not my issue. No. if you're a candidate or you are an elected official, you need to be advocating for issues that impact the people you're representing, whether it's a federal issue or not. You might not have, complete oversight over it. You might not be able to vote on it, but you absolutely can impact, influence, and advocate for it. So that's just kind of what I believe in, whether it's local or not. If it impacts the people I care about in my district, I'm definitely going to speak to it and advocate for it.
Awesome. I love it. Absolutely love it. I'm not going to take any more time right now because I'm going to step back and I'm going to let Wolf, continue on with you. But I love it. And we'll open up the floor in a little while, people, for those of you who may want to make a comment or some questions. But for now, Wolf, you got the floor, brother.
Hi, I'm glad that everyone is enjoying Miss Sara Blas, who's running for city council. Like, she is, you could hear, down to earth. She's one of us, and she also knows the in and outs of the system and know where we need things and where we can strengthen other things. I'm so glad you're here, Ms. Blas. Thank you for coming here.
Are you kidding? Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is really nice.
I'm so happy you're enjoying yourself as well. But when them questions start coming in, I don't know, because we got some people from different places, different states, different towns, different cities, and they want to know this information as well.
That's all right. Let's heat it up. I'll take any kind of questions. Let's do it.
Oh, any kind of questions? I still have one.
Okay.
What are the things that you that you do when you're campaigning and you're trying to enjoy yourself? Like, where do you go and what do you do to campaign to us?
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is, how do I get the message out about the campaign? Like, how do I campaign?
Yes. How do you get the message out to us? Like, you go to the parks. I know you've been to a lot of my events, and I know you've been to a lot of nonprofit events. So what do you do?
I go everywhere. I am at the Staten Island Ferry. I'm at bus stops. I'm at community events. I'm volunteering at food pantries. I'm at performances. I'm standing outside your child's school. I'm sitting on the bus right next to you. I'm on the ferry. I am on social media. I am in community board meetings. I try to be everywhere. I go to different church services every Sunday, every Wednesday, cultural affairs, museum openings, like a bake sale. If a scout troop calls me, I'm there. Like,
that's amazing.
Whatever's going on in the community, I want to be a part of it. So everywhere.
See, you hear, like, she knows what she wants. She wants to help us. She wants to be part of our lives. We need to try to let her in. Let her know what we need. If she's going to be that councilwoman for us, we need to also let her know what we need in order for her to help us through the system, right? Right, Ms. Blas?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have a bit of a question on those lines because it sounds like you have to be a bit creative in these positions. I don't expect there to be any sort of like guidebook to say, all right, day one, you get in office, go talk to these guys and take care of that situation. It's great. And you move on over here. You got to kind of decipher where is the root of this problem. Am I starting it from more of a symptom perspective? What is your approach and what type of creativity do you bring to this position so that you can, I guess you could say, decipher our problems to your best efficiency?
Oh my gosh, such a good question. So as I shared, I have a background in public health. I like to look at things through a public health lens, which means you're questioning what is the root cause of this problem. I'll give you a very specific example. About 10 years ago, I raised my beautiful children in a night-care facility on Jersey Street for over 10 years. And the playground itself in the back was so disheveled and unsafe that one of the children actually almost amputated, a finger sliding down on the rusty slide. And so the immediate intervention for something like that was obviously cautioning the entire thing off and educating folks on tetanus and injuries and things like that, right? So that's the immediate intervention. And I like to think of what's short-term, long-term interventions and what is this root cause. So we went in and we worked with the then council member, Debbie Rose, to do some quick remediations just so it wasn't dangerous. And then eventually we filled out a grant and we were able to redo the entire playground, which took about 18 to 24 months just to do the grant and get the grant, and then another year to rebuild the entire park. And then long-term wise, I worked very closely with the comptroller's office where they did a study of every single park within a NYCHA facility across New York City. And we were able to take a look at the health and wellness of each park. On the North Shore of Staten Island, there are 10 NYCHA facilities. And then we were able to really do some long-term planning, not just around new parks, but also maintenance to make sure something like that never happens again.
That's what it's all about. We've got to figure things out from a level that's a bit more uh, undisclosed. You know, like I just think that there's a lot of struggles that are clear and present, and those issues they have underlying, issues that we then do have to get to the root of these causes. So I'm just
Yep.
excited that we're learning that it's more than just standing in front of a crowd saying, "Vote for me," and then like we just forget about you after that. It's like we don't see you until you go on the news and say, "Hey guys, I'm doing a thing. What's up? Who
Right.
who wants me to do a thing? I'm here for things to be done. What you know?" So I mean, I always get this like feeling where it's like, if Johnny, I guess you could say, if Johnny Tuesday woke up and said, "I want to be a politician," and he just said, "All right, I'm ready to go." How long do you think it'll take for someone like, I mean, for yourself, for example, how long did it go
Yeah.
from, okay, I'm ready to do it. I'm sacrificing, I'm pulling the ripcord, I'm kicking the door open, and I'm walking in. How long did it take you from the decision to actually like fulfilling that prophecy to then get into an election or to, become
Mm,
a,
Great
uh, a candidate?
question. Many, many years. I participated in free training sessions with the Arena, the campaign school at Yale. I received a scholarship to go there so they train you how to run for office. I'm not a political insider, so I don't have access to a lot of, money, and I don't take a big thing about running for office is getting donations. So I don't take corporate dollars. I don't take oil money. I don't take developer money. Anybody that's going to come in the community and harm the community, I won't take their money for the campaign. Our average donation is like $42. So that just basically means like everyday folks like us are like, yes, I will give you my money because I believe in this grassroots, activist. Um, so it took a couple of years to learn how the process works, from fundraising to petitioning. Just getting on the ballot cost us about $40,000 and 11 lawsuits. Um, the system does not want grassroots activists on ballots. They don't even want people to have a choice. So they will drag you through the court system. They will try to knock off your petition signatures, and they will absolutely give you a crazy hard time. You've got to be trained. You've got to have a great legal team behind you, and you've got to really be able to navigate that. It's a very difficult process. And
That
so it,
just
it took a couple years to be able to do that.
that just sounds like too much red tape. It's like there's nothing but hindrances in the way of the people actually fulfilling their, their desire, I guess you could say desires or their needs, right? It's frustrating to me for you to say, well, it costs about $40,000 for me to become a candidate. And I'm like, Tom out. So if I just woke up tomorrow, had a windfall from old Granny Snowflake, and then I said, "All right, here you go, 40 grand. I'm up." I can just be a politician, right? I don't have
Right.
to.
Yeah. So if you have access to money, the road is a lot easier for you. Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, that sounds very familiar. That's funny. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'll
there is
just
a
say
new
that.
program, which is one of the reasons I was able to raise money and be on the ballot and like even have literature to give out to folks. It's called the Matching Funds Program. And for every $10, the city gives a candidate $80.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's a new program. So it's supposed to really level the playing field to allow everyday people like myself, like yourself, who want to run to be able to run successful campaigns.
Wow, that's lovely. I'll tell you right now, I didn't know that there was even this, roadblock or process there, if you will. And then now you're saying that there's like I guess you could say, I don't want to muddy the term DEI, but it's like it's an inclusion thing. It's saying for those of you
100%.
who are unable, and you know if others are unwilling, then we'll give you the opportunity to have the voice, give the voice to those who are voiceless. And it just kind of itches me a little bit, because I'm like, if we really want to make change, if I just had a money printer in my backyard, I'd be fine,
Yeah.
but this is like a bigger issue. It's just money's in the way of seemingly everything in life. It's not just, me waking up feeling a grumble in the old tummy and going and making a peanut butter sandwich. Money's in the way
Right.
of everything. I can't. There was a joke that pretty soon they're going to charge us for air, and I got a
Oh
feeling it's
boy.
getting closer to it. I
Oh,
don't much have a question here, but you see where I'm going with all of this. It's like
I do.
our society is built on what we think are merits, but then someone can show up with the golden ticket, bypass the line, and then he can go and pass out golden tickets to others who can then
Yep.
skip the line, and we're stuck sitting here with a pickaxe doing our best to break apart a rock to pull a shiny mineral out to then go and pray. Someone even has the audacity to look towards me and say, "Do you have something valuable?" So it's frustrating.
Mm.
It's
Wow, that's
frustrating.
some really powerful imagery. That's a
Y-
really, and I really think it speaks to the experiences of so many people just trying to live their lives, like you said at the beginning, you know, struggling with a job or maybe there's health issues, just trying to do everyday life things. I will say, yes, it can absolutely be daunting. I am very, very open about, I believe fully funded communities are not violent ones. We see that when folks have what they need, crime drops. I don't believe we should be criminalizing poverty. We know what causes crime, and it's poverty. It's the lack of opportunity. It's the lack of, fully funded public schools. It's the lack of job access. It's the lack of food security. We know this as a society, and so I think it's important to track candidates and track legislators because these are the people that are writing the laws that impact how where all this funding goes and how our communities are built. Again, another amazing resource. You can track each candidate and each elected official where all their money comes from. It's called Follow the Money. And so you can even go and see by name, first and last name, who has donated to my campaign, how much they've donated. Any elected official from city council all the way up to, congressional candidates, you can see what PACs, what corporations, what individuals have donated and how much. And that'll give you a really good idea of who they're going to prioritize in office. Is it going to be a community member if their average donations are $40? Or is it going to be, big oil if all of these corporations are their top dollar donors? So I encourage folks to not even, I've got a great personality, I have a lot of fun. They're like, "Oh, I'll vote for you. You have such a beautiful smile." And I'm like, "No, don't vote for me because I have a beautiful smile. Follow the money. Vote for candidates that you really believe is going to invest in your community." And we have access to knowledge. It's free. You can call your local board of election. You can use your smartphone. We have it. So it's important to share these resources with folks and let folks know that's really where the power is.
So you see, now it comes down to, all right, so the people have options. We can always go out and vote, but I think that a lot of people get afraid because, yeah, the I, I want to say it like this. It's kind of like not so much an anti-intellectual, but it's like a counter-intellectual society we're in, where it's like people want the spoon-fed version. They want like the cliff notes, and if it's kind of too much, we'll kind of check out. So we use
Yeah.
things like your beautiful smile and your personality to make the choice for us. You know what I mean?
Mm,
So
yeah.
it becomes a little bit more difficult when somebody, I guess you could say, who does vote and go out here and make their options. And it brings me back to the end of the recent presidential election, where people were making comments, and it was happening on The View, where they would say, well, now we got to distance ourselves from the people who voted for the other guy because now we got to lament
Mhm.
that we didn't lose, that we didn't win, our guy didn't make it in office, so now we got to cry about it and lament that we're not going to get our way for the next X amount of years. And I'm confused because this is a democratic republic, the kind where it's like, just because the person gets into office on a bipartisan level, they they should be nonpartisan once they get there. So we've
Yeah.
got that further issue where it's like they're partisan for lifetime, for forever, when in reality maybe their policies might lean one way, but then their actions should speak towards the breadth of the society, as opposed to its personal corner. Like, I don't know, we're
Yeah.
talking about things like the Mamdani guy. He's an Indian gentleman. Same way with Ramaswamy, but people don't see many Indian people in mainstream media. So we start to ask questions like, whoa, are we going to be a Hindu country now? Like, what the heck is this? I don't know. People don't pay attention to the right things. You know what I mean? So how can we go in and make a decision that we can stand on with you know with our full chest? You know what I mean? How can we,
Yeah.
without the proper knowledge, really go in and stick to our guns and make a decision that's going to be worthwhile to us? So again, you're saying we can always call the elections office and we can follow the candidates, money and things like that, but I don't know how many people are out here doing that kind of thing. So it's frustrating. Again, I'm using that
Yeah.
word again, where it's like
Well,
a catch-22. Go ahead, brother Wolf. I'm rambling. Go right ahead.
no, no.
Well,
You know what?
hold
You
on, brother.
hitting some good points, some great questions. And that is why we need to know more about our council people, our assemblymen. We need to know more about, what they have and what information that they have that can help our communities. That's why they go out and they campaign. That's why they tell us to vote. We need to really do some due diligence and put some input in our own minds and our own life to go, you know what? I need to know what's happening in my child's school. Because I have a daughter that's in school right now. I have a son that's in school, and like she said, we vote for these people to basically help us with our kids' school, help us with our roads, and I'm just like, you know what? I definitely need someone that I can speak to, someone that's going to actually give me the information like Ms. Blass was doing tonight, giving us the information of where we can go, who we can talk to, because like you said, it's a lot of people who's either scared or would rather let good looks vote for us instead of putting our foot and our mind to the pages and be like, you know what, I need to know myself what's going on. You have people out here that's yelling to us, but we don't understand it because they're speaking in political language. We need to
Right.
learn the political language, or you know what I mean. We just going to have to accept what's happening, right? So she's here telling us the political language. So if you got some more political language that we need to know about how to get funding, I'm all ears.
I I do civic engagement classes. I also teach people how to run for office. So if you know anyone that's interested in that sort of thing, please give them my contact. Also, if you're interested in just thinking about, I would love to earn your vote for tomorrow if you're in the district, it's sarablas.com. I will be on the Working Families Party line. So you'll see me in the Working Families Party line. And I'm really proud to say so many of the community members we were talking to were like, I'm a registered Democrat, but I'm tired of the Democrats and Republicans fighting all the time. And I don't feel like there's a line for me that represents, like, I just want a new North Shore. So do you know what we did? We created one. So I will be on the ballot twice on the Working Families Party line and also on the independent line called the New North Shore. That just represents regular, everyday people wanting to make their communities better. So, yeah.
Ms. Blas, this is Marcus again. I'm really enjoying the conversation and your input and the questions that have coming out. But I have another question, and it's a little bit different. But here's what I wanted to know. Well, actually, I have two questions, but I wanted to know, with everything that is going on in your district and all of the things that you speak to and you're concerned with, and the fact that you are among the voters, the constituents, you're reachable. With all that being said, what I wanted to know is, what about making connections with other communities that may not necessarily be where you are? But for example, there was a campaign years ago, and you may have heard of it. It was called the National League of Cities, and there was some officials who, spearheaded that, and it went across the nation, city to city to city, and they formed some kind of alliance to do certain things. What is your take on that? For example, if Staten Island were to somehow connect with Newark, New Jersey, or Patterson, New Jersey, or Elizabeth, New Jersey, with common goals in each community, would that be something that would be feasible so that there would be more of, let's say, a connection and more voices for concerns that impact each of these particular places, that everybody could have a voice and then come together maybe as, like, concerned people?
Absolutely. May I add? In Hoboken, New Jersey, too. Go right ahead, Marcus.
Okay. Yeah, so Ms. Blas, that's my question there. What is your take on that, and is that feasible?
100% it's feasible. I would say on a smaller scale, I've had a lot of success with coalition building, just working with lots of different nonprofit organizations, kind of coalescing around one specific issue. And I think when we talk about issues that impact the community, we can't talk about it in a silo. There's a lot of environmental justice issues that impact New Jersey and Staten Island. We share a waterway. Whenever there's a fire, it impacts all of our families. Whenever there's a leak at a plant, we work very closely with our borough president a couple of years back with toxic smells and lots of, stuff going on with that. And we had to coordinate with New Jersey. I think that forming those existing relationships and already having a coalition that's strong, that has a mission, that prioritizes families that already exist is what we need. So when emergencies do happen, we have that resource. So I think not only is it feasible, I think it's essential.
Okay, that is phenomenal, because I was really wondering about that as the conversation was moving on, and I'm very, very happy to hear that is something that can be done. It's doable. So it's not just to one particular place, but all of the places that are connected by something we have a say in things that, impact our communities as one voice. But I also wanted to ask this other question
Sure.
because, well, a, a lot of people that listen to the podcast and even myself, we are under the umbrella of vision loss, a lot of us. So, with that being said, with those, issues with people like myself and other who have these challenges that we go through under that umbrella, um,
When you say vision loss, are you talking about visually impaired, like blindness?
yes, yes, yes.
Oh, wow. So I'm very public about my struggle. I have multiple sclerosis. And so the optic nerve damage I have actually left me legally blind in my left eye.
Mm.
Yeah, so I oftentimes, like on election day tomorrow, you'll see me in a wheelchair. Um, I just recently had a little bit of a relapse, but we're still going strong. We're campaigning from the hospital last week, so I am very public about talking about accessibility, talking about chronic disease, talking about invisible, illnesses. It's a priority for me. I'm also the only candidate that does not drive because of my blindness. So you'll see me on the bus right next to you. Is how I get around.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
And so I do a lot of disability advocacy, and I think that there really needs to be a lot more dialogue on folks with disabilities, on accessibility and infrastructure and jobs, in every facet of society. And I really prioritize that, not just in my everyday life, but I'll definitely prioritize that in the city council seat. And I just want to say, like, it's so stigmatized talking about, a disability. It really is. And I think it's really brave and beautiful that you all are open, to the public and on your podcast about some of the things that you all struggle with visually. So thank you for that.
Well, I thank you for your response on that. And, this is something that's really near and dear to my heart and also to Flo and also to Wolf and other people who are listening right now who are also, under that, umbrella, and also other people with other, challenges that may be either physical or cognitive. You know, basically this speaks to us as well. So a coalition, as you put it before, like coalition building, could be very beneficial. And just because we may be across a border in another state, it does not stop us, or seemingly does not stop us from coming together and putting our issues on the table, and then maybe building a stronger, constituency, because we all have the same issues that affect us, as well as the environmental issues you spoke of. So I would say, that is truly, truly awesome. And I'm glad to hear what is being brought out on our podcast tonight, and you being here to really give us some information that, other candidates and other positions at other levels may not be so, in tune with, but you are definitely, definitely in tune. And I could say, we really do appreciate you, your knowledge, your information, and your willingness to be here with us, And I'm going to now sit back. I'm going to turn it back over to Wolf. And Wolf, anytime you're ready to open the floor for questioning, you go ahead. You finish your interview, and whenever you're ready to open up the floor, Wolf, you and Miss Boss, you got it.
All right.
I actually
I
had a
appreciate that.
question.
I appreciate it. All right, yeah, can you ask that question, please?
Yeah, because it's not so much a question. It kind of leads back to when I was asking about how someone gets into politics, right? You said it takes like some years, right? But now, during those years, you had to figure out which office you were going to really, jump towards, right? You probably had a top 10 choices or a top 5 choices. So like what Marcus was just saying sparked a thought saying, yeah, wow, we've got aldermans and we've got all these different types of people in office that, man, you giving us the local board of elections free civics classes information, that I think that's going to help us bridge some of that gap of understanding because of all the questions that I have right now, I mean, only know so much, so I'm not going to sit here and try to ask you about the entire structure of our political system. But at the end of the day, that's really what we need. We need somewhere where we can dig into those real questions where it's like, wait, all right, so yeah, you said a street sign or a pothole. Who do we really call? Are we going to go to a town hall meeting and just yell at the council, or can we write a strongly worded letter? Or if I do want to write a strongly worded letter, can I be tactful in my cussing them out? I don't know. Let's figure it out. So I just
Well,
go ahead.
I think it's a great point. And I just want to say I'm a student of life, so even though I've been knee deep in this work for a long time, I learn new things every single day. So it's a learning process for everybody if you're doing it right, for sure. But I would say yes, strongly worded letters are amazing. I always encourage people to put things in writing, especially to elected, so they can't say they didn't know. And if you don't know who your representative is, you can there's a website that says, who is my local representative? And you put in your address, and it will give you all of your electeds. It'll give you your candidates. It'll also give you their phone numbers and emails and their websites as well. And so let's say, for instance, I think what I hear a lot is like, oh, there's a stop sign issue, but I don't know who to go to. Let's say it's a city issue, so you'd go to your city council first. But let's say you emailed your congresswoman and said, hey, this stop sign is broken, and I saw a kid running, and I'm really concerned. Any elected official worth their salt is going to say, I am so sorry this is happening. Let me call the Department of Transportation and your city council person and get on this immediately. And they'll pass the baton to whatever elected official is responsible or whatever agency is responsible for that particular thing. So I wouldn't get too hung up on like, well, who's supposed to be doing what? Because they're all really supposed to be working together if they're doing their job right.
It's that
Ooh,
last
that
line
was
there.
beautiful.
If they're doing their job right. Now, this leads to another question. How can we compel these officials, like yourself? Like, let's say, I said, dang it, Sarah, there's an issue in my city and I need some help. And you're like, well, great, go ahead and talk to this guy about it. All right, thanks, Sarah. So now I go talk to that guy. And then I start talking to them, trying to figure it out. And let's say, so someone comes out to the city, right, from the city, and it's like, all right, if there is something knocked over, they pick it up, they fix it. Great. Now, you might get success in that respect because we did, like, for example, talk to you and you got us to the right person. You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how often it's we're able to get such a wonderful customer service representative like that. We can't even call, our utility and get someone half decent to talk to. So, I don't exactly have questions, but I just want to voice these concerns because, like, I don't know, it goes back to me watching movies and stuff, and just seeing things on TV, like the movie Head of State was a lovely movie because it kind of
It was
followed
a
the
really funny
process.
comedy.
Yeah, I felt like I was in on a guy from the bottom trying to make it to the top of like the political game as opposed to, any other just like politics or fame or whatever. He was like he was an alderman, and again, what the heck is an alderman? But he was just a guy who low level in the system took it upon himself, maybe reluctantly enough, but he, progressed and per what's the word? He made it to the top. So I mean, at the end of the day, that's a movie, but it's an inspiration and maybe some sort of a spark that could light a political fire in somebody to say, wow, I do want to walk around like Bernie Mac, slapping folk with my rhetoric, you know what I mean, just hitting them hard with the
Yes.
truth, you know what I mean. So I'm excited to get this, inside baseball scoop with you. And I think we should do more of these. I'm taking down this who is my local representative so that we can continue to have more guests like yourself, even when it's not a, political selection season. So I just want to say that I'm excited for this whole process. And with that being,
Awesome.
yeah, if you want to say something more, go right ahead. We perhaps can transition to another segment here, but feel free to wrap up here. Wolf, if you like to say something as well, then go ahead and let me know. But Sarah, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you again for just making space for me tonight. This was really fun, and I can't wait to come back. And just wanted to share again, sarahblas.com. That's SARAHBLAS.com. If anything, that you heard today, you want more resources on, we've got an amazing campaign team that's there to just connect you, whether you're across the bridge or not across the bridge, you're in the district, you're out of the district. We're here to make sure you have resources so that you can make your community better as well. So thanks again for having me, and I can't wait to come back.
Ms. Blas, I wanted to say this. We got a few minutes left, but I wanted to say, and I want to really thank you for being here with us, because right here we're all about connection. That's our name on our podcast, Xtra-Hype Connection. So we're here to make connections, and we're here to grow. And grassroots especially, we love it because it's an up and coming thing, and it's not going to be long before it's something to be reckoned with, because this is where the people are. And I just really feel so excited, and even so energized because of your energy and the fact that you relate to the people. You're there among the people, and you were very open and honest about your challenges, which I didn't even I had no idea of until you made that announcement to us. But I thank you for that, and I wanted to let Wolf go ahead and open up the floor for some questions because we got about 10 minutes left in our time. So Wolf, you got it, bro. You can open up the floor to ask people, if they have any questions or comments.
Yes, please. If anyone has any questions or comments for the future city councilman, Sara Blas, please ask away.
This is Joffrey. I don't know if this woman has ever been a council person or not, but she was talking about what the city council does. And I'm thinking, and I've always been concerned why the city council sits back and allows decisions harmful to the constituents in the city to take place, why they don't challenge the mayor and his planning. And I don't know, maybe that's not something they can do. And so they sit back and they watch people who have grown up in the community and have lived into their older age be taxed out of their homes. Because of property valuations being made on people's homes, people who aren't even planning on selling their homes, but they're being told, well, the value of your house has gone up exponentially, and now in order for you to maintain ownership of your house, now you have to pay X amount of dollars to the city. And I just don't know why city council folk don't take control of that in some way, shape, or form. Could you speak to that at all?
Absolutely. Can I have your name?
My name is Joffrey.
Joffrey, thank you so much for that question. And just to clarify, I have never been an elected official. I've never been voted into office. So hopefully tomorrow I can call you and say that's changed. But I am a current candidate right now. So I just wanted to clarify that. So one of the things that's really important to our campaign, and we've been doing over the last year, is helping homeowners who are losing their homes. So there's something called the Homeowners Help Desk, and that number is 1-855-HOME-456. You could also call 311 and specifically say, I need information on the Homeowners Help Desk. So basically what that is, it's a federally funded program, and it did not get cut. Lots of people think it got cut. It did not get cut. They help people pay their back taxes so they don't lose their homes. Now, you're probably wondering, how come a lot of people don't know about this program? Well, it's called corruption. You have elected officials who are taking donations from real estate developers, and instead of sharing with their constituencies that you have federally funded resources that can help you save your home, what happens is those tax lien homes, it's a free public list. So you can Google and see where are all of the houses that, and most of these are seniors, they're veterans, right? They're folks with disabilities. That's why they get behind on their taxes. So the developers look at that public free list and they go, oh, great, I can buy all of these for cheap and develop in these areas. And I want to say most elected officials, I do believe, care. You're not going to sacrifice so much to run for office and really, not fight for people. But there are some that work with developers. They're in the pocket of real estate developers. And so I think it's important that as individual citizens, we share this resource and we let people know that if this is something you're experiencing, there is help and you don't have to lose your home.
Great answer. Great answer. Great question. Great question. Is there anyone else that has a question before Ms. Blas goes and we wrap up?
Rodney here. Can you hear me? Good afternoon, good evening, good morning.
Good evening, Ivadine. Yes, go right ahead.
Miss spell her last name? B-L-A-S, Blas. Yes. Thank you. Hi. Good afternoon, good evening. So, Miss Blas, first, if I say to you, Ashe, for all that you have done and said, you may think I'm talking about your cousin, but I'm not. I know your family, Jamel and Miss Susie. Yes, so when you said your grandmother just celebrated, I was like, wait, hold it. I know what she's going to say. Hello. So, you are a winner. Thank you. You have been winning. You will not stop winning. You will continue the work that you do with office or without. I do look forward to, as Marcus was saying, the collaboration. As you were speaking, I was thinking, this sounds like something that could be created and shared, all that you do. Because you do have some people who are in office who don't quite know how to navigate the system or the people. They're more involved with the system. But it is about the people. I think if I have any questions, the question would be, how do you share with the public to motivate themselves, not to just vote, but to get involved? Because when you vote for someone, you're voting for what they represent that pertains to you or your community. But you also have to get involved. It needs a momentum. It needs action. It's not just for one person to do it because you voted them in. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, yes. So, model. I lost the word. Right. To create a model for the different programs, which is similar to the collaborations that you're doing with Marcus had mentioned as well. So I love what you're saying. I just want to make a note. So when you get into office, something that I feel should be looked at, this has never happened. Well, it happened 3 years ago approximately, but never before has Central Brooklyn flooded like it did a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
And even 3 years ago when it flooded really bad and Queens got hit bad. I mean, we don't like it, but we're kind of used to the water areas flooding because it's close to the water. But Central, high ground, knee-high water on Fulton and Tompkins. And so when it happened 3 years ago, because I have a different kind of brain, not from anybody else, don't get offended, anybody, but I have a brain that kind of goes to the source. With all of the redevelopment and development of the tall buildings, no one's looking underground. And how the foundation is blocking the flow of water. That's why this flooding is happening. These buildings, in my head, the building foundations are blocking the flow of water. It used to flow freely down the drain and out, down the drain and out. But it can't do that anymore. We have a serious problem. Thank you for it's called the Homeowners Help number.
Yep. Homeowners Help Desk. Yep.
I so appreciate that. I know that it's mostly seniors and those who are not paying that close attention. Not that they don't want to, and along with the seniors, they never had to.
Right.
See, that tax lien bill has always come in, but as long as you had a mortgage and your taxes were being paid through the bank, you didn't have to worry about it. So they still see that same bill coming in, but they don't realize they have to address it, so some of them are not even opening it. It's very tricky. They know exactly what they're doing, and as we know in New York City, when they hold those tax lien sales, they only hold it for those two trust companies. So that's even trickier because, well, it's a scam. It's a lot of that. So thank you for your program to help seniors. I love the Golden Girls concept. So thank you.
Thank you for being a friend.
Exactly. And cooperating and community living, and having someone to take care of you. That's what they need. They need, like the Blue Zone. I don't know if you saw that on Netflix. Community is everything. It's everything. So my name is Ibadane. Who am I? Just a family, and I am Carlton's kind of step-aunt, little Carlton. Carlton Jr. is his step-aunt. So Ashe and Hassan's mom, Ashe, and I'm Renee's sister. If you know Renee, I'm Renee's sister.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a small world.
What a small world.
It's a small world. So when I heard that, I just knew. But I'll stop there, and I will be in touch 100%. And you got this. You're a winner. How did LaBelle say? You're a winner.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Listening to Yvonne, do you know this is a medical issue? So many of our elders, whether they know it or whether they don't know it, they suffer from dementia. They suffer from Alzheimer's. They suffer from Parkinson's. They suffer from all these mental illnesses, okay? So how is it that the city gets to rob them during these mental situations? Just a thought.
That's a complex question. There's a lot of predatory healthcare practices, especially for seniors that are homeowners that end up in nursing homes, and they end up with, really terrible care, and then they lose their homes. It's completely horrifying to think about. And, we have some extended family members, and we're, thinking about long-term care for them and kind of weighing our options in a very similar way. And it's scary for families that don't have advocates or families or healthcare proxies to help them navigate a lot of that. I don't know of any existing resources other than state-appointed healthcare proxies, but I can absolutely look into it and definitely think that we should be investing more into long-term solutions so seniors can, as I started, this out, my work began with seniors in hospice, so they can live and die with dignity. And it's something that each of us absolutely deserve.
That's a great answer to the question. And I guess the question more centers on what can be done with respect to those situations and those people who have those challenges facing them. And I really, really believe that your answer really did speak to that very well. And, I really want to commend you once again, for being here with us. And I want to just open up the floor for one last question, because after this next question, if anybody has it, you got the last question on the floor. Then I'm going to turn it over to Wolf and FloFokuz for our closing. But if anyone else who hasn't had a chance to ask a question has one,
yeah, I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Okay, you got the floor.
This is Perk from Staten Island. Go get him, sis.
Thanks so much, Reverend Perkins. I appreciate you, my brother. We're pulling out a win tomorrow for sure.
No question. Get that bum out of there.
All right.
I have a question. I've got two questions. This is
right,
Glenn from Staten Island. Yeah, this is Glenn from Staten Island. And I never heard of you before, and I'm not a politically minded person, but I'm a spiritually minded person, and my spirit was really feeling you.
Oh,
especially when you answered the questions fast, and it made a lot of sense to me. And I said to myself, this is somebody I need to talk to. And my question is, who are some of the candidates that I should look into to vote? Because I didn't do my homework yet, and I wanted to try to vote for the best people. You already have my vote, so you're out of the way.
Thank you so much. Well, I would. I never tell people who to vote for, but I will say that the New York City voter guide. Check your mail. You probably got a hard copy in the mail. They mail it to everyone. And it's also available on the internet. It gives you a little micro bio of each candidate, and it really does tell you a lot. Like, you'll know right away if a candidate is aligned with your values. And then also New York City Votes, they have little videos. We have our video up as well. So if you're more of we talked a little bit about learning disabilities. Maybe next time we could dive deeper into that, or even just like neurodivergencies or the way people prefer to learn and absorb information. I love videos as well. They're less than 3 minutes, and they have videos for each candidate. So you can go on New York City Votes and kind of click on, you put in your address, and you can click on each video, and you'll get to know very quickly, like, oh yeah, this is definitely the person I want to vote for. But yeah, so that's usually my recommendation.
Okay. All right. New York City Votes, you said, right?
Yes, New York City Votes. New York City Votes.
One more thing. You ever eat at Fish and More?
I don't think
on
so.
On Victory Boulevard?
I don't think so. What kind of food is that?
Soul food. Good old soul food, too.
I need to go over there then.
Yeah, I think you should check them out. You'll thank me later.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, everybody.
All right.
Shanae's house, and I like her food too, and they're like pretty much neck and neck.
Very nice.
All right. Well, everybody, I want to thank everybody for coming on this evening. I want to thank our special guests tonight, which are Miss Sara Blass. She's running for City Council, Staten Island, tomorrow in the election. She's been with us here. You got to hear her firsthand, and she's given out a lot of great resources. And also, I want to thank our other special guests from the Alpha Pack, of course, Leon, brother. Whoop, 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 whoop.
Ooh, thank you, Leon, and thank you again for having me.
Yes,
And,
thank Mr. Marcus and FloFokuz. Yeah, they the ones. Xtra-Hypeness is where it's at.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We'll have you back again, Miss Blas. Trust me. We're definitely going to have you back again. We're going to have the Wolf back again. And right now, I'm going to just let everybody know that immediately following the end of this podcast at 8 p.m., tune in for Belief Systems with King David. Also, tomorrow at 7 a.m., we got the prayer call with Miss Carol Lucille. Great way to start the day, 7 days a week. That's 7 a.m. every day from Sunday to Saturday. The week turns and it keeps on going. Tomorrow, tune in at 6 p.m. for Great Space with Miss Jada and Miss Karen. And also at 7:30 p.m. for the Pink Sofa with Miss Carol Lucille once again, putting in that overtime right here for the podcast. And with that being said, my friends, I am going to give it over to my man, FloFokuz. You know what it is, brother. You got the last word, and take us out of here.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say this was great. This is the kind of thing we should do more often because it allows us to get a glimpse into the types of worlds that we don't often see ourselves operating in, even though it's some place where we ought to be very focused on. So, at the end of the day, we've got lots of wonderful resources here. I want to try to recap before we get off of here. We've got the fact that you can call your local board of elections. Okay, they have many different resources where you can find out things like your civic processes with free civics classes. Okay, there's resources like Follow the Money, where you can follow the money of the different candidates that are out here for different elections, different offices, and things like that. All right. We've got the homeowners help desk, right, where you can see information on your property and different properties so that you can understand the dynamics of what's going on in your neck of the woods. Also, New York City Voters Guide, right? That'll help you understand who to vote for, the different policies and things like that that the people have. Then we have New York City Votes. That's a further resource to learn more about what's going on with your elected officials, their policies, and why you might want to vote for these people. Am I missing anything aside from your website? You said SARAH Blas, BLAS, sarablas.com. Do you want to say anything in conclusion here, Ms. Blas? Unless she already tipped out. Listen, guys, it's been a pleasure. And we do this for you guys because we love you. And there's nothing you can do about it. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, there's someone there?
But that was me, Flo. That was me.
Ah, no problem. Listen, remember, guys, we love you. There's nothing you can do about it. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, old bodies.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Brother Wolf.
Good night, brother.